Well, obviously, big win Saturday, and as we did video this morning, obviously there's always things we want to correct and do better. I was really proud of really the lead up to the game. That's kind of what I look at is just what's our practice look like. Obviously the open date was huge for us, just getting a few guys healed up and after that 8-game stretch, but really thought mentally going into the game we were in a really good spot. We start out good offensively, and then we get behind. We were just talking about the fake punt that really probably turned things around for us. Huge play for us. Really proud of our special teams. And then, it was kind of back and forth, to get ahead right before half. Big deal. Another great special teams play. And then really proud of the offense in the second half. I think the defense, we're seeing some things out of La Tech. Really, they were running the ball more than we'd ever seen them. And so I think that took us a minute to get adjusted to that. But I thought we had a really good second half defensively for the most part. But really proud of our offense. I think it's really probably one of the first times all year that we really felt like they responded at the end of the game and was kind of as we were going, kind of going away with us, running the ball the way we wanted to. Big touchdown by Lucius at the end. Obviously, Debo had a huge day for us. And for a guy that was kind of banged up, with an ankle. Got well really right before the game, but really proud for him and his effort, and really just a great team win. Now we go to Marshall. They are playing extremely well. Obviously just a tough place to play, as we know. We're going where we played. Went to the championship game last year. I'm sure they hadn't forgotten that. It does help that we've just been in that stadium, not too long ago. But they're playing really well on all sides of the ball. Had a big win over FAU, which is really tough to win at their place. So they're doing a really good job, and we're going to have our hands full, obviously. So, questions?
Obviously, going to Marshall, you had to face one of the better quarterbacks in the league, in Grant Wells, but also they have kind of their secret weapon with Xavier Gaines. How do y'all kind of plan around him, because he's such a really mismatch in that tight end position?
Yeah, so quarterback is playing well. I thought a lot of him last year, as a freshman, and I think you see him mature. He's doing more things. He's making more throws, different throws. They're really diversified on offense. They do a lot of different things, a lot of formations, a lot of shifts, a lot of motions. They run the ball really well. I think running back is Ali. Yeah, man, he is really good. Reminds you a lot of our guy. With really good speed. They got dynamic receivers all around. Then we're talking about the tight end who played Wildcat quarterback against us last year. He'll be in the tight end position. He flexes out. Great receiver. They've just got weapons offensively all around. And then defensively, they're playing really well defense. I mean, it's just a really good team. They're playing really well at this time.
Coach, last year, the team well, but a new coach, and he's a Nick Saban guy. What kind of tendencies have you seen? Do you kind of look at – what tape do you look at beyond this? Because he was a running backs coach for a long time.
Yeah, I think there's obviously the things that he brought that they were doing well at from Alabama. I'm sure, in his past experiences, that's what happens. And, being with Coach Sarkisian, you see some of the maybe a little bit more of the RPO game. And obviously you look at those running backs. I'm sure he's got a big influence in how they play. So you can see, it's the same offensive coordinator from last year, but you can see the head coach's style woven in that. And I just think they do a lot of different things offensively, probably just more dynamic than they used to be. They just do more.
Bill, you mentioned some things you need to clean up. What kind of things do you need to fix, heading into this week?
It's always we're trying to fix things. We didn't think we tackled as well as we should. We're always looking at penalties. We're looking at little things. I think it's always a work in progress for us, So, that's why we do good, bad, and ugly on a Monday morning. It's the constant state of trying to get better. I wasn't real happy being a defensive-minded head coach. We're trying to go for a shutout every week. So we knew La Tech was going to score some points on us. So, we're always working on every side of the ball. But, I thought special teams really answered the call last week. Can't rest on our laurels. We had a couple of special teams plays with some different kicks they gave us. But I think all in all, special teams responded. But it's really the whole team. It's week to week.
Every time I'm here, I feel like I ask you, take care of your own business is kind of the goal here. Is that getting closer and closer? You liking what you guys are doing in the locker room after a game of big four touchdowns with the running back? Is this what you like going into the back half of November?
Yeah. I think for us, it's really, we want to be, and I talk about from an offensive standpoint, we want to be multiple. We want to be able to run the ball and throw the ball and be balanced. I always say you can take something away from somebody. If you put enough guys in the box, you can take the running game away. If you drop everybody, you can take the pass game away. We want to be where we can be multiple. But I think to see our running game in the fourth quarter is something that we like to see, and to see us kind of going away with the running game. And I think that's where the attrition of just keep at it. I think Dylan, probably there's some throws early on. He was a little bit tight, probably first time I've seen that the other day. But, he came back and had a good second half. And so I guess you're always working. It's always based on your opponent. But our guys know what's at stake. I know their guys know what's at stake. So it's going to be a big one.
Obviously, Noah missed first half last week. Didn't play a whole lot in the second half, just with your linebackers playing well. Just what can you speak to those kind of backup linebackers that have now been kind of thrust in that position with Deshaun being out for a couple games?
Yeah. So we really, and I think when we talk about defensively, we looked at in the Liberty game in the second half, and we had 8 defensive starters or co-starters out. We've kind of been in this. We went from having this great depth, and we have a package we call Pony, which is our third down defense, and we've. The last 3 years especially have been great on third downs. We've had so many changes, and we look up Mole, who would move back to linebacker's gone. Deshaun's out with injuries. Then we look, Noah's out in the first half, and, now you're down to, the next guys. Charlie Benton came in and played, had a good game for us. We ended up in that Pony package I was talking about, where we take one of the linebackers out and play with one more DB. So when they were trying to make a comeback, they were in 10 personnel. We only had one linebacker in. So that's what led to Noah really being out. Start of the second half, he was in when they had 11 personnel in the game, and he was really the third guy in that package. Plus the fact we knew he wasn't going to play in the first half. That's how we kind of worked it. Be back to normal this week, though. But Charlie Benton came in and did a good job.
Bill, what makes McBride so special?
Gosh, he's just, he is a real running back. He's been a running back for a while. That's how he's been brought up. And he's got all the things you want. He's got great vision. He's super strong, explosive. He finishes runs. He's hard to bring down. I think it's really all those things. And that's kind of what we've been challenging him on, is that one guy that trips him up in the hole that was kind of happening. I think really that's where he was against Rice when he got hurt. I mean, if we think about it, and I was laughing when somebody said, well, why didn't he get the ball more? He was hurt. He would have got it more, So, we really had to take care of him the last 2 weeks, and it was kind of a game-time decision on how much he was going to play. We knew he was going to play, but it was a game-time decision, so thankfully he was out there ready to go.
Coach, a little bit more out east, a good friend of yours, John Gross. Yeah. They're parting ways with each other, but the program he's built there, and you're from that area. Yep. What does it mean? They're just now last week, Conference USA. They're coming into this conference. What is it? What has he done? And you're like one of your best friends. So
I'm so proud of John and what he's done in that program. And that was my biggest thing to leave my alma mater to come here, was I wanted it to be in good hands. And because I knew there would be hurt feelings. I'd been there 1 year, but I knew I was leaving it in good hands, and a guy who is a good coach but a better person. So I think some of that is just the world we're in. It's as we get bowl eligible for the whatever time in a row, it's you create expectations. You create these expectations of we're going to win a championship every year. And I've said that many times here. That's what I want. We don't want to get spoiled to the fact of how hard it is to do what we do, and that there's other people that are paid to do the same thing. So I hate it for John the way it worked out. Got to talk to him yesterday, and I think he's getting his head wrapped around it. But man, what a great job he's done, and I know how his players feel about him, and that was obvious by what they said, and that they kept his secret like they did. So really proud for them. Want the best for JSU, but for sure want the best for John Gross, his family.
Antonio during the game had career high in tackles. All the way back to fall camp. I walked in first day, saw that physical change in him.
Yep.
Have you been surprised at what he's been able to do this year? I think he's second on the team with tackles. He's playing well in pass rushing as well as in pass, getting hands up, everything like that. Just talk about this season that he's been having. Yeah,
my hardest thing for him is trying to keep weight on him. And what Mo, as we call him, does, he practices so hard. I mean, this is a guy that's making plays on the other side of the ball. He looks like a linebacker running around. he's had a good year, and really proud of him. And probably the best thing about that guy is he plays like he practices. He practices hard. He's always, he's one of those guys got a smile on his face, got a great attitude. And like I said, the hardest thing for us is, all right, where's your food at? Keep eating, because he keeps dropping weight. And I think a lot of it is he just practices so hard.
The term "win out." It's. I'm sure it's something that's on your mind. But taking it one game at a time. How pleased are you after this weekend's win?
Man, it feels good to win at home. As you know, like we had one of the longest winning streaks at home, so it's kind of feels good. After the loss to Rice, which is we felt that we won that game, was held on a couple of calls, but to bounce back after that win and to see the energy in the locker room and just the work we put in practice leading up to that, as Coach Clark said, feels good. So it feels good on that.
You're a big physical receiver. Coming off a game where Dwayne, goes for 204 touchdowns, what kind of pride do you take personally, as well as the receiver group, in kind of, blocking downfield? Because y'all were doing very well Saturday
yes,
with Dwayne going after.
With that, man, we know, like, his name, everyone knows his name is Dwayne, but his name Debo. Like, all of us call him Debo. His name ain't Debo for a reason. And so he goes by that name, and we already know, like, that's a grown man, like, amongst boys. So we take pride in that. So we always hear we got to dominate the perimeter, especially for me as my size, is that I'm 6'4", and I'm the biggest receiver in our group. So if I'm taking pride in doing the blocking, I'm pretty sure, as me being a leader of the group, they all follow behind me. So,
what was the biggest difference in this offense from the Rice game to this game?
As you know, like, we didn't have the ball much in the first half playing against Rice, so I think we never really got a drive going. But as we shown for like the last 3 games, we were able to score within a minute or so, and like our offense is picking up pace. And as Coach Vincent always tells us, and as the offense, we know we haven't hit our peak yet. And like, as much people want to know is, like, as far as the receiver room, we haven't seen much from the receivers. And yes, we know about Prince, but we got other tight ends, and we know about Debo, and we got other running backs as well. So it's like we got more in the tank, but we just haven't showed it yet.
So a lot of times y'all refer to different players by their nicknames. What's your favorite nickname for Hayden Pittman?
Pitt? It's Pitt. Like, you get Pitt. Once you meet Pitt, it's Pitt. Like, Pittman gonna be yourself 24/7. Like, Pittman is the same person on the field and off the field. So what you see is what you get. And one of the best teammates we got on the team. And as people know, like, he's like probably the heart and soul of the offense. So he brings the energy to practice, to the games. He makes sure people is up. Pitt gonna be Pitt.
All right, Rio, we talked earlier in the fall camp, just what it's been like to kind of really, I guess, really have somewhat of a breakout season this year, kind of really leading this defensive line that's really got a lot of depth and has really contributed a lot this season.
It's a blessing, I take it one day at a time, keep working, getting better. It was a big transition for me, I played both from the 5, DN, nose tackle, whatever Coach Gentry, Coach Tatum need me to do, I can do it, I'm one of the older guys, so, we got depth, we know all the positions from front end to the back. We know what's going on, so I can't do nothing but just thank the coaches for my development, I really was a linebacker coming into college, transferred from the University of South Florida. I just thank them for my whole development. It took time, now it's showing, I just can't do nothing but thank the coaches for that process and how everything's going.
Being one of the veterans, I've asked Coach and one of your other teammates this, the term winning out. How much do you guys want to just focus on one game at a time? Or are you kind of looking forward to, that championship game if you guys get there?
Oh, it's definitely just one game at a time. This next one, all eyes on Marshall right now. Just like Coach Clark said, we had good, bad, and ugly. We got the last thoughts of La Tech. We enjoyed it. Now it's all eyes on Marshall. It's the next one. We know what type of game it is. We know what to expect. We know what's at stake. We got a lot of veteran guys, so we really just know what's at stake. We've been there before. We know what type of atmosphere it is in Marshall. Huntington, West Virginia, right? Out there in the cold, we know how it is. But we know what's at stake, so we're going to be ready. Pretty sure the coaches got a game plan for us to execute and just be the most physical team out there and win the game.
Well, we know what the good was. I mean, a lot of us can see that when we watch the game, but what was the bad and the ugly, and what kind of things do you need to fix before you go to Marshall?
Just like Coach Clark said, just small mental errors, you know, tackling, you know. I missed a few tackles, you know. I was in the good, bad. I was on the bad this morning, you know. I take that personally, you know. I'm gonna come out, work harder, you know. But just a few minor executions in the back end, front end, getting more pressure on the quarterback, standing in your gap, tackling, just a few minor details. Coach Clark gonna emphasize them in practice today. I know all week he is, so we're gonna be okay. We're going next one.
Were you the most excited guy in the stadium for that final touchdown Saturday?
Oh, yeah, my little brother. Yeah, I had to. I had to meet him in the end zone. I really didn't know how I wasn't, because we had just got off the field. I didn't see it. All I just saw him pick his knees up. He was gone, you know, so I just dropped everything and ran. The whole D-line was behind me, so I was like, oh, yeah, my brother got one. So it was a pretty good moment, you know.